Well, good afternoon to you all. Tony Virtue speaking, Virtue and Partners with our regular monthly update. And I guess it's always good to get the year end behind. And for most Australians now, they'll be getting a small tax relief. So tax rates have changed, as we spoke about last time. Quite a dichotomy out there at the moment. On one side, we've got Australian aggregate wealth at an all-time high at $16 trillion. So of which residential is 11 trillion, residential property. Shares, particularly international shares now, at an all-time high. So, but on the other side, we've got what they call stubborn inflation that won't go away, and some talk of interest rates actually rising, which is quite a quandary at the moment. So let me have a crack at what's going on and try and explain this. Fundamentally, we have a supply problem still in Australia. So the reality is that we're not building enough properties. Our share market is actually shrinking in size. So more and more companies choosing to stay off market rather than to join the stock market. So a rise of private equity, private credit in the markets. So there's just a lack of options really to buy into. Other thing, as I put in my notes to be aware of, that is probably unique to Australia, is that, and we see it here in the business, clients now who are reached the age of 65, they're drawing down 5% of their super each year as an allocated pension. That has become a very, very substantial amount of money. And that is going into the economy in some capacity. It may be in travel, it may be in helping the kids, but it certainly does impact on inflation. In addition, we have record visitors to the country at the moment, particularly from Asia. They're spending money. Our GST rates are lower than our home countries. So again, that is increasing the amount of money going into the community from overseas. Finally, overseas students are making a big difference, particularly here in Sydney. They need somewhere to live. Rentals are very tight. So in aggregate, all of these things are actually driving up inflation. So clearly we've got to look through the numbers and understand what's really driving this. So while the basket of goods talks about 20% going into mortgages or into rent, clearly for many of our community it's much, much higher. That which is housing related, lifting interest rates, is a self-fulfilling equation. It actually is inflationary in itself. So kind of the wrong medicine for that wrong kind of circumstance. In the meantime, markets are cooking strongly. The Nasdaq, I think it's the 25th successive increase. You see in the notes there, the Nvidias, the Microsofts, the Apples, all well over $3 trillion US dollars. So substantially larger now than the Australian market. They have the capacity to easily increase their prices at the moment. All goes through to the bottom line. We're trying to adjust portfolios to really just pick up on the obvious there. So all in all, it's a slightly overheated economy. We're seeing elections now in the UK, elections in France, all of which are reflecting, to my mind, a fairly disengaged community. We obviously got one coming in the States later this year. We may even have our own election. So look, I think it's a case of pedaling hard, staying very, very focused. Certainly we are in the practice, never been busier. And look, where there's good money to be made, we need to take that. Save some of that money for a rainy day. Markets will turn in due course. Look for interest rates to fall. They will need to at some stage. And just stay resilient for the future. So good to talk again. Tony Virtue, when experience pays.